Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Victor here. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of nutrition when it comes to limb lengthening surgery. Now, just like in fitness, nutrition can affect your health, your body weight, and your recovery. So I wanted to give an overview of nutrition and how you can use it in your favor, if you're thinking about the procedure or if you just want to look good, okay? So I don't think people realize how much nutrition can impact your health, because your goal when it comes to limb lengthening surgery should be to get healthy before the procedure, stay healthy during the process, and then get healthy afterwards to go on with your normal life, okay? And if you're eating a crappy diet, you can, develop all kinds of health conditions, things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you can get type 2 diabetes, you can get overweight, heart disease, all kinds of stuff. And then if you combine this with the potential complications of the surgery, that could be a really nasty combination. So, and if you're overweight, for example, that can cause, if you start walking with internal nails or some sort of device, that can cause device malfunction and breaking the device. So you don't want that, okay? And I get a question all the time is that, hey Vic, should I lose weight before the surgery? And my answer is probably yeah, because not everybody's in tip-top shape. But you don't have to, it really depends on where you are. So you don't have to, go too crazy, because you don't want to be so ripped that you don't have enough energy and, resources to heal, but you don't want to be so overweight that you have the negative impacts that hinder your recovery and rehab, okay? So I'm gonna talk about how you can use nutrition to lose weight if you need to, or to gain weight if you're too thin, all right? So let's break it down. So it all comes down to how many calories you're eating every day, all right? How much food you're consuming. And I have a quick and dirty method, or a hack, if you will, of how to determine how many calories you should be eating. So if you want to lose some weight, you feel like you're a little heavy, I usually recommend taking 10 to 12 times your body weight in pounds, all right? If you're trying to maintain your weight, you're gonna take the number of 13 to 15 and multiply this by your body weight in pounds. And if you're trying to gain some weight because you feel like you're too thin, I usually recommend taking 17 to 20 and times this by your body weight in pounds, okay? So, for example, I weigh 215 pounds right now, okay? The pancakes on quarantine have been way too kind to me, so I've been gaining a little bit of a belly. I'm just kidding. No, but let's say that, I want to lose some weight, right? So I'm 215 pounds, and that 10 to 12 ratio, so let's just say I take 12, all right? And I multiply that by my body weight, so 215 times 12 is going to equal, let's see here on the calculator, we got 215 times 12 equals 2580. So that's rounded up to 2,600 calories, okay? So, which is very likely that I'm gonna lose body weight, okay? Because right now I'm eating almost 1,000 more calories than that every day, all right? But then you say, hey Vic, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to lose muscle. So how do you help me preserve my hard-earned muscle that I've spent, years in the gym busting my tail to build? Well, then you're gonna need to break down the calories into their components, also known as macronutrients or macros, okay? So usually, if you're not on some special ketogenic diet or, modified macro ratio diet, like a low carb diet, then I recommend the ratio of 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% fats, or somewhere between 30 to 40% protein, 30 to 40% carbs, and 20 to 40% fat, somewhere in that range, okay? So for example, let's take my example again, okay? So I was at, 2,600 calories. That's what we came up with, right? The average. So 2,600 calories, and then I said about 40% protein, so that's 0.4, so times 2,600, and we get 1040, okay? So 1040 is how many calories that I would have to eat of protein per day, but that's not a pretty number. So we need to divide that into grams. So you'll take that number and divide it by the amount of calories per gram in protein. That's 4. So we divide that by 4 and we get 260 grams of protein per day of protein, all right? Given that carbs are the same ratio of 40%, that's the same amount. So 260 grams of protein, 260 grams of carbs, we just gotta figure out fats. So if both of those are 40%, that means that the fats are left with 20%. So we're gonna take 2,600 times 0.2, which is the 20%. That's 520 divided by 9 calories per gram for fat, and we get 57.7. So that's about 60 grams of fats, all right? So I'm looking to eat around 260 grams of protein, 260 grams of carbs, and 60 grams of fat each day if I want to lose weight before my limb lengthening surgery to be in a good standing, okay? So you may ask, this breaks down to those numbers, Vic, but I only eat, 4 or 5 times a day. Great, and you divide it by that amount. So for me, for example, I eat closer to 6 times a day, so I'm gonna take these numbers and divide them by 6. So let's say 260 divided by 6, that's about 43 grams of protein per meal and carbs. And you know, the fats, 60 divided by 6, and we get about 10 grams of fat per meal, okay? Again, this is a perfectly ideal ratio. Some of my meals are heavier, some of my meals are lighter, some meals have carbs, some don't, okay? All right, so then you're gonna ask, what about the foods? What should I be eating? What food should I be eating? All right, well, when it comes to protein, I usually recommend leaner sources, okay? Things like your chicken breast, your turkey, your lean ground beef, eggs, fish is great, okay, and seafood and like shrimp and crabs and stuff like that. Whey protein, amazing source of protein, okay? Those are good sources of protein. They're gonna help your muscle stick around and help you heal up, okay? Because protein helps heal bone and muscle and lots of soft tissue. When it comes to carbs, definitely go for your dark leafy greens first. Then you're gonna wanna have some starches in there as well, okay? Things like your potatoes, your rice, your bread, those are all cool. And then I recommend fruits too, because they have a lot of good antioxidants to keep your immune system boosted, all right? And then fats, okay? Things like cooking oils, peanut butters, healthy butters, avocados, nuts, peanuts, all this type of stuff are healthy fats, okay? And you can use a tracking app such as MyFitnessPal to help you plug this all in to figure out if you're hitting your numbers on a daily basis. And once you get the hang of it, you probably won't have to use the app anymore. You can kind of, you know, eyeball it, okay? But it's just kind of getting the hang of how much food you should be eating to, you know, lose the weight, maintain your weight, or gain the weight, all right? And now you may ask, what is the benefits of the carbs and the fats and the protein? Well, protein, like I said, is gonna help you maintain your muscle because it's primarily what makes up your muscle. And the fats and the carbs are energy sources. Carbs primarily help with like the energy and like everything you're gonna be moving around and doing. It's the body's best form of energy. And the fats are great forms of cellular health, okay? And regeneration. So when you have a broken bone, it's gonna help you rehab and make sure you have no complications like non-unions and stuff like that, all right? I mean, guys, this works really well for me. I use it all the time for my natural bodybuilding to go to high levels. I also use it for my online clients when I coach them. So I recommend you really practice how to do this, you know, so you can get in the ideal shape that you need to be in before your limb lengthening surgery, okay? If you do need extra help with this, I will put a link in the description if you want to reach out to me for coaching, but definitely try how to do this. It's really important that you know how to manipulate your nutrition in your favor to get the results you want. All right, so that's all I have on how to use the power of nutrition to, you know, make your limb lengthening surgery a success. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. And until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, signing out.